That is hardcore.
This is hardcore shit.
But for me, it gets harder and harder to resist.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hardcore Horror with Mike and Brigitte. Tonight we got a special episode. Brigitte as a guest tonight. Who we got?
Oh my gosh! So we got Double Trouble,
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah.
So we've got Jeff Whitting and Chad Kinkle Crawford.
All right.
So they're both local Tennessee movie directors.
Yeah.
Done a
That's
lot of
awesome.
amazing things. Super cool. They love the weird shit that we're into, the extreme horror. So I'm really excited to have them.
All right. Very cool. Okay. Before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about some stuff. So now, out in LA, they're doing the writer's strike and everything with Hollywood and all that big stuff. And of course, that doesn't affect independent cinema at all. They keep going. They're not a part of the WGA. But so one of the things that they're, obviously other than pay, which is the big thing, obviously, that they're striking, is one of the things that they're talking about is the AI, like how now that's becoming very much a possibility reality that AI is going to be taking over a lot of jobs as screenwriters. What do you think about this?
It's kind of crazy. I've been talking about this a lot, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because I believe it. It's like back when we were like kids and we used to watch like the Jetsons and
I thought you were going to say the Terminator. Yeah.
I was thinking I was going like back to like when I was 2 years old, but
yeah.
Damn, no, the shit's getting for real. No, the shit really is gonna happen. I'm one of those people that I was one of the ones that when COVID happened, I was like, this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. This is bullshit. This isn't real. And when I really realized it was real, I was like, oh my God. It was like it kind of took me back a couple notches. It pushed me back a couple notches. It really did. I didn't really realize what was happening. And
yeah, well, it's just interesting because the thing is, I typed in like, hey, write me a screenplay about this, and this, and then it just starts writing. It just starts coming up with something.
So I didn't believe this. I didn't believe any of this. And so we're laying in bed one night, and Tracy goes, so let me show you how crazy this is. And he goes on there and he goes, type me a story about three-legged circus with Tracy West in Nashville. And it come up with this whole story, and it was insane. I was like, what? In like 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It was kind of creeped me out a little bit. I was like, what the fuck? But you know what? I mean, I'm gonna say that it's a generic story. It's a formula. It's a formula.
Right. Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say very cold and calculated, sort of.
Very. You know how I feel about formula movies. I'm like, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just the formula, but how they come up with that in like 2 minutes was crazy. But what I don't like about that is it's not an original idea, and anything extreme or like there was no imagination behind it, I guess, because it was coming up from a computer,
right?
So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see that it would ever really replace screenwriters and stuff, but it is interesting that Hollywood is incorporating that as part of the process. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I wanted to shout out real quick. Next month, I'm going to be in Alcoa for the Bride of Frankencon convention.
Yes.
On June the 9th and June the 10th. Last year, I only went just to observe it. It was really cool. Joe Bob Briggs and Darcy was there and everything. But they've got some other people there. The Frankenhooker director and cast, I think, are going to be there. Other people as well. So it should be interesting. So I'll be there for a couple of days.
So where is this located?
It's in Alcoa, which is just down from Knoxville, Tennessee. And so that's June the 9th and the 10th.
Awesome.
And before we get to talk about movies, so we talk about like physical copies of discs, and you're kind of a pro physical copy person, and we've talked about this before. And one of the things that you've always said that you like about that is the special features, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So the quick question would be, is there any special features you don't really care for that much? Is there any that's just too much, or you just don't care that much about it?
I think sometimes like I'll watch the special features and you have interviews that go on. They're about as long as the movie, 2 hours. I'm like, cut
Okay.
all the bullshit and get straight to the good stuff. But I'm
Okay.
ADHD, so that's
Well, that's interesting. 'Cause I'm going to talk about somebody in a minute about that does kind of does that, kind of just shows you everything but the kitchen sink. But is there any other like aspect, like what about like commentaries and stuff like that? Do you ever listen to those kind of things?
I do, but again, it's hard for me to sit through those. It's very hard for me. It's probably hard for a lot of people. I'm thinking I think from a movie director, because you're a movie director, you probably have sit in on them, and it's fine for you, and you probably have the patience for it, right?
I mean, I have quite a few, but then I mean, you know, if I think about all the discs that I have that have commentaries that I have not listened to, I mean, there's definitely quite a few of those. So unless I'm just really, really invested in the movie, really want to know everything about it, I probably won't, to be honest. So, you know, it kind of is one of those that's kind of take it or leave it sometimes. But yeah, I mean, sometimes features can run a little too long and everything. But so I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Let's talk about what you've been watching.
Oh my gosh, I have an amazing list.
Okay, we've been gone for three weeks, so it's,
3 weeks. So maybe that's why it's so great. I'm like, oh, I have extra. I'm gonna roll through these pretty quick.
Okay.
So when we worked the Full Moon Tattoo and Horror Festival, Dr. Gangrene, who was on our podcast, so go back and listen to that episode, but he was a couple booths down. He gave me a movie. He was also my first kill in the movie Deadlines, which you can watch on Tubi. But he gave me one of his movies. So it featured the movie called The Monster, and there was an extra feature called The Clown. Awesome. Old school classic shit. I love it. I love it. Okay.
Is this Larry's movies, or he's just in them?
No, he's just the host.
Okay.
He's just the host. These are the movies that he was just kind of, but his little commentaries crack me up. You gotta go, but you gotta go and watch him. I was like, he is so funny. He is such the male version of an Elvira.
Right. Yeah.
It's so funny. Anyway, okay, so I did a rewatch of The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Okay.
Really, really good movie. Second time I've seen it, I want to go back and do a rewatch, but I love the gore. I love the Conjuring movies. So, here's a really crazy one. I thought I was watching a comedy. I try to throw like a regular movie in. I watch one like comedy or romance or whatever, about 1 out of 5 of my horror movies, just to throw it out there. But it turned out I was like, oh shit, this is kind of crazy, and it's kind of underrated. It's called Let's Kill Ward's Wife.
Let's Kill Ward's Wife. Okay.
Let's Kill Ward's Wife. It's is it Patrick Wilson? That's The Conjuring, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the main characters.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's about these dudes that they have a friend, and one of the friends has a fucking cunt wife. And they're like, let's just fucking kill the bitch. And they're like, what the fuck? What is crazy? And they I don't want to give it away. It's actually really funny, kind of underrated. I don't know how I even found it, but it's really good. It's a good watch. So I saw ICU 30. I did a rewatch of 30 Days of Night.
Okay. And liked it better this time or no?
I did like it better this time.
Okay.
But the end makes me sad.
Does it?
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, it's so sad. Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. Aftermath. Not 1994, but Aftermath 2021.
Aftermath 2021.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
Did I watch that one?
I don't think so. I don't think we've talked about that one. Aftermath 2021. I was like, why do they call it Aftermath? But it's about a couple. It's after they break up. It was okay. All right, but Piggy. Piggy has been on my list for a long time. I know
Oh
you
yeah,
watched it.
yeah.
I know you watched it. I was a little disappointed.
You didn't
I'm
like it?
like, I didn't say I'm. It's not that I didn't like it. I think I had such high expectations that it didn't do. It didn't give me like I want the what the fuck, you know.
Yeah.
It didn't do that for me. So
Right. Okay.
here's a movie that I've had on my list forever. Finally checked off my list. Antichrist, 2009.
Ooh, what do you think?
I mean, what the fuck?
Oh, come on.
So,
First of all, that opening is beautiful and fucked
oh
up
my
/ beautiful.
God. I remember Tracy West watching with me, and he don't watch shit like that, right? And when the penis penetrating in slow motion,
Yeah.
he looked at me. He's like, "What the fuck? What the hell is that really happening?" I was like, "Yeah." It's so beautifully shot.
Stunt cock.
It's
Stunt
so.
cock.
So I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I did go and research it. I was like, "Is that really?" No,
stunt cock.
they both of them, not just him, but her too. Right. William Dafoe, I love though.
Yeah.
That movie's so fucked up that you're kind of like, what is happening? Like, what's happening? But it's beautifully shot.
I love it.
So fucking different.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I liked it. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm so glad I checked that shit off my list. I was like, damn, it is, and it's the way he films it is so great.
I like most of Lars's movies, to be honest. I mean,
I do too. Especially coming from a movie director standpoint. I can see that. You have to open your mind a little bit to really understand. Don't watch this movie if you've been drinking or smoking or whatever. Really go in sober and understand what's happening, or you won't understand it.
Yeah.
But it's really great, really great. It's a really great movie. So we're gonna interview a couple movie directors tonight. We have Jeff Whitting and Chad Crawford, who did Jug Face. So I did a rewatch of Jug Face.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I did too.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
So this movie's kind of crazy. It was filmed locally. So when I say locally, I'm Nashville.
Yeah.
I think it was filmed in Franklin, Tennessee, if I'm right. It's kind of, I mean, it's different. It's very different.
It is, but it's so well made. I mean, it's great. And yeah, it's like you go into it and you don't know what you're expecting, but once it gets going, it's just it's a crazy folk Southern horror tale, you know, but played so well, you know, and the actress he's got in there is perfect, you know, so it was really well made.
I think so too, and Katie Gershon. She's been in several films. I've met her several times. She's a really cool chick. She plays in it, and God, the acting is amazing in this movie. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit late. We'll talk more about it later because we're going to talk to the director of the movie tonight.
Yeah.
So another one, I did a rewatch of this movie. Tracy, my partner in crime, he's never saw this movie before, and I was like, "What the fuck? You never see this?" Hard Candy.
Oh yeah.
I did a rewatch of it. This movie never disappoints me ever.
That's a good one.
So, one fun fact, my daughter was like, "Mom, she's like a dude now." The main actress.
That is true. Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my God." But what a great actor. Amazing. She was so believable. And I love that fucking storyline. If you've never seen Hard Candy, you better check that off your list. Okay. Anyways, I saw, Innkeepers by Ty West.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Same.
Same.
Okay. It was okay.
I was not that, you know, I honestly, like, again, you know, I love X and this new stuff he's been doing, but I was not even, as impressed with most people was with House of the Devil. So, but in Innkeepers especially, I definitely wasn't as impressed. I mean, it was okay. It's a decent movie, but I wasn't like, oh my god, this is amazing.
That was kind of me too. I was just kind of like, okay. I mean,
I
it
probably
was
need to
good.
rewatch it though, because I haven't watched it since it first came out. But I just don't remember being very enthralled by it. But yeah, but I'm loving what he's doing now, though.
So, all right, he's come a long way. I think Innkeepers come out right after House of the Devil. I think.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty
So,
sure.
but with X, he's come a long way. So we had Mother's Day last Sunday.
Yeah.
So I had to do a rewatch of Mother's Day.
Which one? The original or the remake?
I didn't know there was a remake. So this would be Charles Kaufman.
Okay.
I fucking love this movie.
Yeah.
Like I love this movie. It's
fun.
To me, most people, I feel like most people would watch it and be like, what the fuck? I watch it and laugh. I laugh through the whole damn movie. It is so fun to me.
Yeah.
So I do this. I get on this trauma kick. I'm like, oh, let's watch some trauma movies, So don't make fun of me. I've never seen Class of Nukem High.
Okay.
So I watched it. My god, I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
it's so stupid and funny.
It is, yeah.
It's like corny as shit, but it's funny. It's hard, but it's funny as shit. Okay.
Yeah.
You got trauma. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
It's like oysters. You either love them or you hate them.
I enjoy them. I mean, I think they're
I do
good.
too. I do too. Father's Day. So Mother's Day. I love Mother's Day, but Father's Day is one of probably right on up there on my top favorite 10 movies, horror movies.
Father's Day is a little bit hardcore though.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. So listen, if you've not seen Father's Day, you better go and look that shit up because it's on my top 10 list. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Evil of the Night.
Evil of the Night. What's that?
Okay, Evil of the Night. So I don't know. It's one of them. I love Tubi. I just randomly come across this shit. It's from the 1983 or something.
Okay.
There's a lot of sex in it, but I loved it though. It's gory. One of those 80s slasher films, underrated. God, I didn't hate it though. I mean, some of the scenes were kind of buddy, but it's you gotta look that one up. You need to look that one up. It's
called Evil of the Night.
Evil of the Night. Yep, Evil of the Night. It's the so one of the main chicks was, oh my god, I can't even think of her name. She was one of the girls on Gilligan's Island.
Oh,
Alyssa something.
Okay.
But no, it was
Ginger.
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly who it was. So, but if sex offends you, don't watch this movie.
It does.
Because
so I better not.
it's okay. Yeah, okay. Your 80s slasher films always have sex.
Sure.
This one went a little bit extra. Spoiler alert. So you can mute this part if you don't want to hear about it. But no, one of my favorite scenes of this movie was, I was like, what the fuck? That just fucking happens like necrophilia. So there's couples in the woods, and he's like got the girl bent over, he's getting her like doggy style, and he gets slashed, and she's sitting there riding him, and she turns around, he's fucking dead. And she's keeping going. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like necrophilia. Oh no, it was good. It was a good movie. I thought it was good, and kind of underrated, obviously.
Yeah.
It's a good little pretty gem.
Okay.
So what else do I have? I watched a new movie on Shudder called From Black. Have you seen this one?
What's it called?
From Black.
Oh yeah. I did watch that one. Yes.
Oh, what'd you think? Oh, you're like, you didn't even remember it. You had to look at it.
I'm sorry. It was okay. It was all right. I didn't hate it or nothing. It was okay. Yeah. What'd you think?
Same.
Yeah.
My exact same response. I know why you didn't remember it, because it was
Well, I mean, the thing is you watch so many movies, unless something really does jump out at you. Sometimes I just don't remember, to be honest.
Look, dude, that's all we do is watch horror movies.
I mean,
And
yeah.
so here's my favorite. I even like tagged you in something on Instagram
Uh-huh.
because it's a whole thing. So I'm on vacation right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm on vacation, and on the way, I was like, I'm gonna watch a horror movie, and I watch things that other people don't want to watch.
Sure.
So I have to kind of watch them by myself. And I was like, I'm going to watch this movie. Of course, my internet wouldn't work. I had to watch it. I think I watched it like 7 a.m. yesterday. Project Wolf Hunting.
Oh, all right. You watched it, huh? And what'd you think?
Holy fuck me. Oh my God. I fucking love the gore. Okay. I have so much to say about this movie, Mike. I'm gonna be really quick.
It's pretty bloody, yeah.
I love this movie. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, because
it starts off a little different. Yeah.
Yeah. When you watch the trailer, I mean, it looked like several different genres, like all kind of crammed together.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes this movie so great is the violence and the brutal kill scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of the goriest movies I've seen since I watched The Sadness.
Yeah.
So I did. I had to. It makes me wonder if you did this too. And apparently I'm not the only person that's done this, because there was articles and articles and articles. I was like, how much fake blood did they use on the movie set? Do you know the answer to this? Does anyone know the answer to this?
I do not. Tell me.
2.5 tons.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I've watched more jugulars get slit and kratums get smashed.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this movie though. I didn't even do the video. Tracy did a video. Tracy was driving. I was sitting in the back seat. I was just trying to chill and watch a movie. And he goes, he cannot watch subtitles, right? It's really hard for people to watch subtitles. But my point was if the movie is good enough, you will watch subtitles. Yeah. This movie was good enough. I even went and told my mom, I was like, Mom, you've got to watch this movie. The subtitle. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. My mom loves horror movies secretly. Yeah. Like, don't tell anybody. It's on a podcast and everything. Don't tell anybody.
Well, I've got little kids, so subtitles kind of been a staple for me for a while. Because if you want to hear what's being said, I literally just have them. I have them on all the time now, subtitles. Yeah, I mean, there's some movies that you just have to, if you really want to enjoy them, in the right way, you'll need to just read the subtitles.
I think so. And you had a really good point. Your comment on it, you're like, a lot of great movies are dubbed, but it sometimes doesn't line up.
Yeah, like if you listen to Let the Right One In, the dub version, and then you actually have the captions, the subtitles on, you'll see that they don't match up. And I'm pretty sure the same thing with Martyrs too, but a lot of them are like that. So yeah, I mean, and they don't do it as much as they used to. Used to they would always dub everything in English because Americans had to have it. They wouldn't do it any other way. But I don't think they even do it as much anymore. Not as much. They will some things, but like Project Wolf Hunting so far, it hasn't been dubbed in English at all. I don't think so. Maybe when it comes out, it might have a track like that for people that just cannot stomach the subtitles. But I think it's becoming more and more accepted overall.
Yeah. That's my thing though. I was like, if the movie is good enough, like you don't mind subtitles.
And a matter of fact, if you come to like publishing your work and stuff, now they demand that you have subtitles. See, back in the old days, it wasn't that way. A lot of DVDs, they don't even have subtitles, all the earlier ones. But now, if you get a movie, it's got subtitles. A lot of time in the many languages, but it's it's standard now.
Yeah. So that's my big list. I had a pretty big list. So, awesome. Well, you tell me what you got.
All right. Well, it's been 3 weeks. So I do have a big list. I didn't include everything because it's just too long.
I didn't either. I didn't either. I tried, but it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all, that's all we do all day. We just sit around and watch horror movies. I'm just saying.
when
No,
we
I'm just
can.
kidding.
When we can.
When
Yeah.
we can. That's right.
So the first thing I did was kind of did a horror watch-a-thon of a director, and the director is Ryan Nicholson. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name, but I know that you know some of his work. So I just I watched a bunch of his movies, so one that I know you're familiar with is Gutterballs.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
But so he passed away.
He did. He's a Canadian. He was a Canadian filmmaker.
Yeah.
He died a few years back, actually. And he was making Gutterballs 2. They had Indiegogo for it. I actually contributed to it, to be honest. And they did complete the movie, but he never got around to actually getting it out to the public. As far as I know, Unearthed Films they're supposed to be working on that now, but so yeah, it never got released, and very, very sad. Yeah, very young guy, but he made some movies. He made quite a few before he passed, and so I watched quite a few of them. I watched Gutterballs again, revisited that one, which is a great movie. It's really good. I watched some of these other ones. Let me see if you watched any of these or not.
Okay.
One's called Torched, the other one's called Hanger, and another one's called Collar. Have you seen any of those?
I don't think so. I think I've heard about them, but I don't think I've actually seen them.
Well, if you like Gutterballs, Hanger would be right up your alley, because he just really brought the whole crew back. And I think that was the one he did right after Gutterballs. And so all the people that were in Gutterballs is back in Hanger, and different characters, plus Debbie Rochon and a few other people. It's pretty good. All his stuff is really, really gory, really exploitative, sort of sexploitation, sleazeploitation kind of stuff. We talked earlier, and I told you I was going to mention this about a guy who kind of throws everything but the kitchen sink on his special features. This is the guy. His movies, when he puts together a package, like, it's just immense at everything he's put on these DVDs and Blu-rays. So I've got like the 2-disc version of some of these, and like literally he'll take you like shot for shot, like basically the making of the movie. And we're talking about the makings of the movies are longer than the movies, like way longer, And even like in some of these movies, he did like an X-rated version of them too, which is a little bit interesting. Now,
okay.
There's some hardcore scenes.
I'm sorry. Can I rewind for just a minute? Is there an X-rated version of Gutterballs that I have not seen?
Well, because there is what's called a far out version of it, and now there is a couple scenes in there that's questionable about whether it's real or not. But there is. It doesn't say XX as far as like. So I'm not for sure if all that's real or not. But as far as on Torched, they got a version. There is a penetration version with a dildo, and then on a Hanger, there's like a version where it's a penetration. It's really up close. The girl in Gutterball is the one who bends over and gets raped. And she's back in this one, and she's really going for it. So you should check out.
She's not dead, so she's
it's a different character, but she's
that's the crazy thing is if Gutterball. So okay, our podcast is hardcore horror, right? So if you're squeamish, don't watch this movie.
Don't watch any of these movies. Any ones I mentioned.
But if the first 5 minutes is like, holy fuck, it's crazy, and it's the great. I love it. I love everything about this. I love everything about these movies. They're great.
They are,
really great.
I mean, he's got some other ones too, Famine and Live Feed and stuff like that. But Torch, Gutterballs, Hanger, and Collar. Those are the ones I watched. Really good stuff. Yeah. So up next was I watched a couple of the American Guinea Pig movies.
Oh wow, you're kicking back old school. Okay.
Yeah. Song of Solomon and Sacrifice.
That's some good extreme ones right there.
Yeah. Have you seen Song of Solomon and Sacrifice?
Because they're. If you're squeamish, don't watch these movies.
Right. Yeah. I like them both. Song of Solomon, of course, it's an exorcism movie, which has all that basic exorcism stuff, but it does have a lot of gore in it. It's pretty gory. and pretty a lot of good practical effects for low budget kind of stuff.
It's funny. We're talking about these things, and it's funny because our podcast is hardcore, so everyone has a different
threshold.
Yeah. Oh God, that's a perfect example of threshold. So it depends, like what triggers you.
Yeah.
So my daughter hates my daughter hates cannibalism. Like it scares the shit out of her. I'm like, really? Because that feels like weird. Really? That bothers you? A lot of women can't stand rape scenes.
Right.
Sure. Everybody has like their own little things. So Mike, I have a question for you. I've never asked you before, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask it right now. Do you have anything like pushes your buttons on movies? Like, do you have any like what pushes you? What pushes your boundaries?
Pushes my boundaries.
That's a hard question, isn't it? Sorry.
Well, I mean, as far as like what, like I can't watch it, or like, oh, it's disturbing.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. You don't have one, do you?
Unless it's real. Like I don't want to watch real stuff. Like I mean, I don't watch Faces of Death, and now some of that is real. But I mean, I don't want to go. I don't want to go on YouTube.
Do you think Faces of Death is real? Because I don't. I think half of it was bullshit.
Well, we talked about it before. It was about 60% real,
right.
60% real, 40% fake. But
right.
As far as like going on like seeing like the ISIS beheadings and stuff like that, I don't want to see any of that stuff. That's my button. I just don't want real stuff. I don't like watching war stuff either. Personally, I know a lot of people do. It's not my thing. I like gore for entertainment. Like if you did this practically or even CGI or whatever, I'm down. If you want to tell a story that way, that's cool. But if it's something real, something that is true, I don't want to be involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of my button. But that's it. Other than that, I don't care. I don't have buttons. It doesn't matter.
I know we're desensitized.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Absolutely. But this American Guinea Pig Sacrifice movie? Now this is a tale of how to make a movie on a low budget with just 2 actors and really just one for the most part. And it's really interesting because it's really just about self-mutilation and trying to
It was hard for me to watch the movie because it's really not like really a plot. It's just
right. It's
you got 2 people, people, one setting.
Yeah, one location. Yeah,
it's really hard. That was really hard for me to watch.
But once it gets into the gore, though,
I just love gore. Okay, I do. I'm like, but oh no, I sat through the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
I think the average person probably couldn't sit through it.
Probably
not. But oh my God, I do. Hell, I'd go watch it again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So up next was a new film called Fear. Came out this year. A generic title for a generic movie. Fear. I mean, it wasn't that great,
When you say Fear, I automatically thought it was the Mark Wahlberg or Reese Witherspoon.
Right.
So not the same movie then.
Not the same movie. No, so it just came out. Much needed getaway in a celebration weekend turned into a nightmare due to the contagious airborne threat where people's fears become reality. I mean, it's generic. So moving on. I watched a little film called Flux Gourmet. This was an interesting movie. I don't know if you'd really even call it horror. And Peter Strickland, he's got some other movies that are kind of horror-esque, but not really what I would say horror, But they're weird. They're very. I think the reason that they put them with horror is because they're so weird. They don't know how to categorize them with anything else. I mean, there's a couple of scenes that you would say that's horror for sure. But it's very weird. It's about these an institution devoted to culinary and alimentary performance. A collective finds themselves embroiled in power struggles, artistic vendetta, and gastrointestinal disorders. Yeah, there's a guy who he's narrating it, and he's always talking about his farts in the movie. But it's weird. It's not. It is a comedy, but it's not. It's more of a strange movie. If you like really strange, bizarre movies, which I think you're kind of sometimes not. I don't know if this would be for you, but it's strange. It is strange.
I'm open to it sometimes. Like Let's Kill Ward's Wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good example.
Okay.
that I thought I was like, I'm not gonna watch a horror movie. I'm gonna watch something funny. And I was like, holy shit, there's some pretty kind of crazy extreme shit in here, but it was funny as fuck. It was so
Yeah.
good. But no, it's do you ever sit there and go, is this a horror movie? Is this categorized as a horror movie? Do you ever sit there and wonder that?
Well, yeah, and I think there's a lot of movies that are horror adjacent, or they're not even horror at all, but they're kind of associated with horror, like Donnie Darko. Like there's nothing really horror about that movie other than the fact that it's set in Halloween. But I associate that with horror for some reason, and I think a lot of people do.
Project Wolf Hunting. I was like, is this a horror movie?
It's only horror because of the gore, really. I mean, to be honest.
Correct.
And
right.
Well, so you get to that second act, and in that second act, and you have this sort of. I won't give away the plot, but you know what I'm talking about. This thing that's chasing them. That's a monster.
It is. Oh
Yeah.
my god, this movie's so good. But I was like, oh my god, they throw all these genres in here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still excited about this movie.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I love it. Okay.
All right.
What else you got?
So anyway, Flux Gourmet. If you like weird shit, that might be up your alley. I did some rewatches of some like sequel movies. Sleepaway Camp Part 2, Pumpkinhead Part 2, like Placid Part 2. None of these movies are particularly good. I just watched them. I rewatched Scare Me. Have you seen that one? Scare Me?
Wait, tell me. I feel maybe. Tell me about it.
It's the simple.
Tell us about it.
Simple premise. This horror writer is kind of at a cottage. He meets this other horror writer. They kind of get stuck in this cottage, or they're together in this cottage. Power, I think, is going out, and they tell each other stories and try to one up each other.
Okay, so I don't think I have seen it.
Okay, I think it's on Shudder. Check it out. Yeah, I like it. It's real simple though, and it is kind of that one setting scene. There's not a whole lot of action really to it, but it's pretty good for like again, two actors really. I mean, there's a few other actors, but two main actors in the movie. The girl, she was in that show You're the Worst, which I really liked. All right, so
I don't think I've seen that one either. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a great show. So up next was a rewatch of a movie. So we talk about hardcore horror and stuff, and we talk about like the sadness and Project Wolf Hunting stuff, and there's a lot of gore and it's very violent and everything. But I really wouldn't say it's shocking. Not maybe not to us. I mean, to somebody it might be, but
it's probably shocking to a lot of people. But it's not shocking. Gore is one thing,
right?
But it didn't give me like the what the fuck factor.
Right. So in the 70s we had a lot of shock stuff. 80s we had some shock stuff. 90s not so much, I don't think. Really, and then 2006 is when the French extremist stuff started happening, really shocking stuff. What was the last like really shocking movie that kind of came out that I was trying to think of? And this is the only one I can think of, and I rewatched it recently. It's the first part of The Human Centipede.
Oh, like the first one?
Yeah.
That it's funny because I think I just watched that movie for the first time like last year, maybe year before.
Okay.
Because I was like, everybody talks about this. So okay, I can't believe I'm gonna admit this on a podcast. I can't believe I'm gonna just tell you, okay, fine, I'm gonna do it. Nothing scares me. It just doesn't. I'm like desensitized.
Yeah.
I'm petrified of centipedes. I fucking can't stand the motherfuckers. I don't know if it's their fucking legs or how fast they fucking run. Dude, if one of the motherfuckers come in my house, I'm gonna like get the damn SWAT team out there to kill the son of a bitch because I just don't like them. No, but the movie has nothing to do with the damn bug.
Right. Well, yeah.
But it is fucked up. It's fucked up.
It is. It's hard. It's hardcore.
It was
part 2 as well, which is even more grotesque. But I mean, those were the last. Those are kind of the last movies I think that really was like shocking. That's really kind of took it to a new level.
That one was hard for me. So the Centipede, the first one, it was hard for me to watch it. I sat through it and I was like, I probably won't watch it again. I did it for the first time, just to check it off my list, but. It was really hard for me to sit through because I'm like, you're waiting. You're on the edge of your seat, and you're just waiting. It's like you want to, like you're gonna get sick and you're gonna vomit. Then you're waiting for the shit to come up, but the motherfucker never comes up. Right?
Yeah.
That's that movie. That's that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's I don't know who wrote that story, but they are fucking sick and fucked up. But good for them because it did every. I guarantee you that it did everything the director wanted it to do. I guarantee he was like, I want to produce something that's going to fuck everybody up, and it did. And people still talk about that shit today.
Well, yeah, if you watch 2 and even 3, but 3 I think is a little it's too over the top. But
and they get worse. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
One is like, oh my God, I made it through this movie. Let's just keep going.
Well, 2 was put out in black and white, but they actually did release a color version. I haven't seen the color version. I'd like to see that because that's got to be wild. Yeah, but those are some extreme movies for sure.
Man, dude, Centipede. Look, everybody.
Yeah.
No. If they're listening to our podcast, they're gonna go and watch that shit.
Yeah.
So go and watch it, but just know what you're going into.
Right.
Because it is extreme. It's extreme, and
it is.
So if you know what you're going into, it might not be so bad, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right. I got some more rewatches of Beyond the Gate. That's that kind of game movie with Barbara Crampton.
I love Beyond the Gate. Okay.
It's a good movie. Salem's Lot. The original Salem.
Fucking love that shit. One of my favorites of all time. Perfect.
Great movie. I did a rewatch of this movie Slice, which came out in 2018 by A24.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a horror comedy that isn't scary or crazy funny, but there's a few funny parts in it. It was okay. Up next was Husera. I don't know if I said that right. Husera the Bone Woman.
Oh, I don't know this one.
This one just dropped pretty recently on Shudder. Valeria has long dreamed about becoming a mother, and after learning that she's pregnant, she expects to feel happy, yet something's off. It's a pretty good movie. It's a really good allegory for becoming a mother and like the kind of trials and tribulations you kind of go through. It's pretty good. The sort of bone cracking stuff that happens in it. I mean, we've seen it before, but it still is effective. You know, it's still creepy, still works. So still good. Up next was a movie rewatch of a movie called Red State. Have you seen Red State? You've seen Red State?
No, I haven't.
No, you have to rectify this immediately.
And put it on my list right now.
Put that up to the top of your list. Red State's.
Oh, and everybody, listeners, everyone that's listening, Mike says you better put it on your list like right now.
Yes. First of all, this is Red State's by Kevin Smith, the guy who did Chase and Amy and Clerks and Mallrats and all those movies. So if you think it's going to be a movie like that, you're dead wrong. I remember when I read that Kevin Smith was making a horror movie, I was like, oh, this is going to be wild and crazy and cool. And I remember watching this the first time and being a little disappointed, like thinking like, what this is? I mean, there's no like boo ghosts and there's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not that kind of movie. But after subsequently rewatching it a few times, man, I love this movie. I think it's fantastic. It's really good. And then the horror is there, in this religious cult. So kind of like a blend of the Westboro Baptist Church, those people that had the signs and everything. It's kind of a blend of them and Waco. So that's kind of like what you get. But it's really good. It is horror. I mean, it's not like boo scary kind of horror like that, but it is. If you watch it, it's crazy. But yeah, put that on your list.
It's a what the fuck kind of horror.
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure. But I do really enjoy that one. Next, I rewatched Evil Dead Rise. That dropped on digital. Up next was a movie called Blood. That's kind of a new movie. Jess, a separated mother and nurse, moves in with her daughter and young son Owen back to her old farmhouse shortly after settling in. Owen is bitten by the dog, resulting in a mysterious infection. So it's kind of like he gets bit by the dog, kind of like a Cujo kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But then it kind of turns into kind of a vampire thing, but it's not really a vampire thing. It was okay. It was an okay movie. I mean, it wasn't great, but decent little watch. So I did rewatch Jug Face. We talked about that. I watched Dementer, which I'd never seen before. Have you seen Dementer?
Oh no, it's one of Chad's movies.
So this is Chad's movie. Yeah. Go watch it. It's really good. It's about cults, which cults, man, they fascinate me.
So between Dementer and Jug Face, what'd you like better?
Well, they're both different, man. It's hard to even compare and contrast because they are very different movies. I mean, obviously there was much bigger budget with Jug Face, and he got to hire like a lot of really, really seasoned actors and stuff. But what I like about Dementer is like it's just like sort of this after effects of trauma of leaving a cult, and kind of this sort of hysteria, which is it's really cool. So I think it's a good movie.
That sounds good. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Up next was a little movie called Consecration.
Oh, I haven't heard of this.
So after the alleged suicide of her priest brother, Grace travels to the remote Scottish convent where he fell to his death. Distrusting the church's account, she uncovers a murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about herself. It was a decent little movie. I mean, there's a twist. At the end there, but it's worth a watch. Not amazing, but worth a watch. Up next was Malum. This is a movie that just came out. This is a remake of the last movie I watched, that I did a rewatch of, which was Last Shift. So I watched both these movies. Have you seen either one of these?
Last Shift is good.
Or you've watched Last Shift?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yes.
I think the girl that was on Pretty Little Liars. Am I right?
I could be. I know.
Okay, you're like, I don't know. Okay.
I don't know about that, but it's a really good movie. I think that it's done really well. It's like it sort of has the whole like mind fuck of everything with her being in there, and it plays really well. So it's interesting. This came out just a little less than 10 years ago, but now they remade it. But the director remade it with this new movie called Malum. And it's interesting, like with remakes and stuff like that. I mean, typically with something like that, you would think usually they're going to do something to better the movie. But I mean, Last Shift is well made. It's a well made movie. I don't think it's really missing much, to be honest. I don't think that there was much to really improve upon. So I'm not really sure what the purpose was for making Malum. So it's a little different, but it's still the same movie. I mean, we still have an officer. Same instead of Payman is their last name, it's Malum now. John Malum is the leader of the cult thing, but I mean, a lot of the beats are exactly the same. And I mean, I like the movie; it's a good movie. But I mean, I can't help but compare it to Last Shift, obviously, because it is a remake of it. And since I've seen Last Shift already, I mean, it didn't feel as unique or original or whatever to me. I mean, and there's different plot points. They put in sort of this Hollywood plot to it, which I didn't think is really necessary. I guess he just wanted to kind of fill it to make it resonate a little bit more, but to me it wasn't really necessary. I like the original one better. I think really. I mean, there's some good stuff in this one, and it does show a little bit more gore, I think, honestly. But overall, I mean, it's a good movie. I don't dislike it, but again, if I had to pick one of the two, I'd probably pick Last Shift.
Last Shift, yeah.
Yeah, but Malum's still pretty good. Worth a watch if you did like Last Shift, to just check them out to compare and contrast. But again, I'm not really sure what the motivation was. Maybe he's just like, man, I got to add something else to this story. But yeah, so that's all I got. So that's a long list. If you got anything else, if not, let's go ahead and let's talk to these two guests.
Yeah, let's talk to our guys.
All right, cool.
So tonight we've got double trouble for you tonight. We've got two awesome, amazing movie directors. We got Chad Crawford Kinkle. He's a horror writer and a director. He's known for Dementer, Jug Face, and Jeff Wedding. He's a filmmaker also with Gypsy Root Productions. Jeff is known for Tennessee Gothic, A Measure of Sin, and Gracie, and so much more. How you guys doing? Oh my God, we're so excited to have you.
Hey guys, what's up?
Good. Yeah, we're good. Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great to have two Tennessee filmmakers on the podcast. We want to talk about your roots and stuff, and kind of where you came from with this stuff.
Yeah.
Now, let's get started with Jeff. So tell us about your kind of your experience of how you became a filmmaker and what it was like making movies in Tennessee.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Indiana,
Okay.
and I always knew I wanted to make films, but it's sort of like growing up a reality. You just, you don't have any connections to filmmakers necessarily. And so I was studying architecture actually in Indiana, and my brother and I decided to move to Nashville, the closest film school to where we grew up, and we were just gonna go to. It was, I think it's still around, Watkins. And we were gonna go there. They had like a 2-year program at the time, and then when this was 1998. They started doing like this 4-year, like sort of thing where you couldn't just take individual courses. For example, like cinematography course, you couldn't do that anymore. And so I was doing stage plays in Indiana. That was kind of there wasn't cinema, like I said, really there, but that was like the creative outlet that I had. And I had saved some money from some plays that I was doing there, sort of like, let's just try to make a movie, not knowing anything about how to do it really. And so we didn't go to film school at all, and we just scraped together. I think we had like $60,000, not of my own money. We got investors, but I had like a little bit, and then it's called Blind, and it's no work of art, but I'm proud of it, and we learned like a ton doing it. Yeah, so I made Blind. We did some shorts, and then I made a feature called A Measure of the Sin.
I have a question. So how did you guys meet? How did you guys meet? Like, it seems like you're always working conventions together, but
we met through Katie.
You tell the story.
Everybody meets through Katie. Everybody loves her.
Well, so of course, so I've been making movies with Katie since Blind. She was like, I'm pretty sure it was the very first thing she had done. And so anyway, we had been making movies together, and of course, like, to be an actress, you can't just do one person's movie. So she was doing as much as she could, and the majority of the time she would always have scripts she was getting sent, and they were like primarily garbage. And she sent me Jug Face, and she was doing called Organ Grinder, and she was telling me how much she liked him, and like he was for real and just really talented and all these things. And then she sent me the script for Jug Face, and she had been cast in that, and I read it, and I was like, dude, you're like finally doing something that's going to be really fucking good. And so she kept saying, come by the set, I want you to meet Chad. And I was like, since this guy, like, I'm not going to just drop in on a set. So we met at the Nashville premiere, I guess, of Jug Face.
Okay, yeah, I don't even remember the first time I met you.
I think that was the first time, but it was around that time, and then we just started hanging out. Like,
awesome.
Yeah, because y'all could kind of relate. We could kind of relate. It's I love it that everything circles back to Katie, because I love her. She's so talented, and such a damn good-hearted person. Every time I meet her, she is so fucking cool. I really like her. I've talked to her so many times to get on our podcast, but she's so swamped. But I told her, I was like, no, let's line something up. But damn, she is awesome. And every time I think I've seen her and everything, I'm like, there she goes, pops up something else. So Chad, I did a rewatch of Jug Face this week. I was like, oh my God, there's fucking Katie right there. She's one of the characters. There she is. I watched it about 4 years ago, but I knew you were coming on the podcast, so I wanted to do a rewatch of it. And I was like, but I didn't know Katie 4 years ago. And there she was. There she was. I was like, oh my God, she's in like all this. I love it. Was Jug Face filmed in Tennessee?
It was.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where was it filmed at?
We were down a little bit in Franklin, mostly in Fairview, and then a little bit in damn, I can't remember the name of the town. Just right north of Nashville, in a smaller town. We had a location, but yeah, mostly Fairview was like the main stuff.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
because I found every location. Like I had to kind of, since I was like it needs to take place in Tennessee, it was kind of up to me to put together where the movie was going to take place. But
Well, Chad, walk us through that. Now, how'd you start out with making films in Tennessee, and then take us to your journey to get to Jug Face?
okay, sure. So yeah, it's kind of similar to Jeff. I mean, I grew up in Tennessee in this town called Fayetteville, that the locals call Fayetteville, and it's like a 30,000 people county, so pretty rural. And I had no idea like how movies were made. You know, I just thought they were made in Hollywood. But my mom and actually my aunt, my grandparents got them a VHS camcorder, and I basically just stole it from them and started making my own little really stupid shorts in high school. So we'd do gangster movies, we would do, vampire stuff. We had a character that was like a Jason character that I would dress up as, or then we stuff this body and throw him out the window of our car and film it, and just being goofballs or whatever. And but I was like the art kid, and I wasn't really good at anything else. It didn't seem like. And so like I went to art school, and the way they had the dorm set up, I was with 5 other guys, but they were all different ages. And one of the guys was in the film program, and he showed me his like project from the year before. And I watched it and I was like, wait, this is exactly like what we were just doing, like I was doing in high school. I was like, I can learn how to make movies here. And I just found my passion, immediately. And even before then, I was like in high school, I was messing around with special effects stuff. I had Tom Savini's book, and I got my mom to order all this different latex things so I could do really bad cuts. And I would have my friends actually shoot me with a BB gun, and I would have squibs in a vest and I would have my sister's like fashion magazines underneath it so that the BB wouldn't hit me. So. So we were always just making movies. And so then once that happened, like just my world completely changed, because I could finally kind of channel in all my kind of artistic ideas. And it had always been horror related. Like all of my art in high school was very much horror. Like one project was like a radial design where just things come out from the center, and I did this like 4-foot radius of like a guy's face with like a rat coming out of the mouth, and then it's being pulled apart by these rats. And I carried it into school, and people were like looking at me like, what the hell? and my girlfriend at the time, she and her grandmother prayed for me after that. But anyway, so then I go to art school. I go to the Savannah College of Art and Design. And I just, like I said, just like found other film people and just, went headfirst into the film program. After that, I worked for a year as like an editor and just some other jobs. And then and I was actually backpacking in Budapest. I'd been in Europe for like a month, and I was in this hostel, and I was drinking beers with this guy, and he was like, I was telling him, I was like, I want to make horror movies, but I want to go back to school maybe and learn like horror theory. And he's like, oh, you should go to the new school, and it's part of Parsons in New York, because they have a professor there, John Freitas, and he teaches all these horror classes, and he's like a horror writer. And I was like, I am doing that. So when I came back to the States, I applied and ended up getting there. And so I moved to New York and got my master's and became real good friends with John. And that's actually how I found out about Larry Fessenden, was through John and his classes.
Okay.
So anyway, after that, I graduated, and it was like, we went through 9/11 up there, so we were like, oh, we should move.
Were you there during 9/11?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit,
wow.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
my wife and I were.
Damn.
So after that, we're like, we should probably leave and go. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh, I need to just move to LA because that's what I should do. I was starting to really write a lot then because I knew that to make movies, I was going to have to write, direct something that I'd written.
Yeah.
And so, but we just could not finally make the move to LA. And then we were like, well, let's just go back to like Nashville and at least just, I don't know, see what happens. It was like the weirdest kind of idea. My wife, who's in fashion, and me in filmmaking at all to do it, but we did it, and she ended up getting a really good job. And I just kind of started really just writing like crazy. And it took about 7 years, and then I won the Slam Dance grand prize for their writing competition for Jug Face. And that kind of is the thing that, jump started my whole career. So
I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to ask both you and Jeff both the same question. So we're going to talk about Jug Face for a minute. And Jeff, I'm going to talk about Tennessee Gothic in just a moment. For Chad, I want to know, like, you wrote the story, you wrote the whole thing. I just did a rewatch of it. Holy shit, it's pretty out there. It's pretty fucking crazy. But that's what I like about it. That's what I love about it. That's so different. So can you tell me like how'd you come up with that? How'd you come up with it? Did anything inspire you, or were you inspired by anything, or how'd you come up with the story?
Yeah, I mean, I actually came up with the whole thing in about 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I went to my wife's family. They live in North Georgia in the mountains. And they were like, hey, there's this brand new $1 million museum with pottery there and local pottery. We should go. And it was just down the street from where they lived. And I was not excited to check out pottery because I'd studied pottery in art school, and it's very boring. And but we're like, okay, yeah, let's go. And so we went, and that was the first place I ever saw a face jug. I'd seen probably images of them before, but never in person. And I was just like, they're so like grotesque and just amazing. And I just wanted to buy some. Of course, this is a museum. I'm just like, where did I get these things? And so anyway, I'm walking around the museum, and I'm standing there watching a video of this potter, and he's like wearing overalls. He's got like a really thick accent, and he's like describing the process of making face jugs. And just in my mind, I just like see this possessed potter. The place where he's getting the clay from, this pit, is speaking to him, and he makes the face jug, but it's a girl in the community, and, that he knows, and I just knew immediately, oh, she's going to be sacrificed. And that was it. I was like, okay, cool. There's the story. And the first time I kind of tried to get into the story, I went with like the kind of traditional thing of like an outsider coming into the community. And it just felt real fake. And then I was like, no, I need to be like it needs to be about someone in the story who's going to like suffer the most, basically. And I was like, oh, well, the girl who's going to die, let's do the story about her. And so then I wrote it in about 3 months. It was not a long process.
How did you come up? I have a question. I'm sorry. How did you come up with the pit? The pit is that what it's called? The pit. The pit.
Yeah. I mean,
how'd you come up with that idea? How'd you come up with that?
Well, like I'm saying, like in the story of the guy, the video, the guy talking about the pottery, he was describing about just digging up the clay from different spots. And I just envisioned in my mind this guy finding this hole in the ground and getting clay out of it, but then something in the woods is like talking to him. And then he becomes possessed and creates this face jug. And so that's just, it just kind of washed over me in that one moment. And
it is pretty dramatic when she sees when your character when she sees it and she's like, "Oh my God, that's me! I'm gonna go hide this." Oh wait, spoiler alerts, by the way.
Right.
Sorry about that. When she sees it, I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty dramatic. I'd probably go fucking hide it too because I don't want to die.
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I feel it. I feel her character though. But it's crazy. It's a really great story. It's
Thanks.
different from anything I've ever seen.
Well, the other thing is, most of my stories, they come from like an honest feeling I have about something going on in my life, and that somehow like gets infused in these stories. And I just had my daughter, my wife and I, and I've been a DJ in college, and had a pretty fun existence, as a early adult. And I just kind of realized, I was like, damn, I'm like, I have a child. Like, I can't be screwing around and partying and doing these things I like to do anymore. And I literally felt like, oh, wow, like part of me has been or is going to be sacrificed. And so that was really the kind of inspiration of the idea of like the sacrifices you have to make that are sometimes good and other times can be bad for your family and community.
God, I think all four of us are parents. Is that about right?
Yep.
Right. Oh my God, you become a parent, like your whole damn life changes. Like you would sacrifice your damn self for your kiddo, and it's so I'm picking up what you're putting down. I got you.
Yeah, it's a good allegory.
Jeff, I have questions for you. So it's your turn. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So Chad just kind of he schooled us on his background. So Tennessee Gothic is like your big film, right?
I mean, I guess like in my like from the stuff that I've done, then yeah, I mean it's the most like seen, I guess, like the most exposed.
I love the movie, by the way. Absolutely love it. And
Thanks.
On a side note, before we get into this, I want to give Jackie Kelly a shout out. She was your lead actress in Tennessee Gothic. We had her on our podcast. Go back and listen to episode 26 with Jackie Kelly. She is amazing. So she was Jeff's lead actress. Amazing. We absolutely love her. But I want to know like how you come up with this storyline. How'd you come up with this? Like, school us on it. Tell us how you come up with it.
Well, Tennessee Gothic was like take the full credit because it was based on a story called American Gothic by a writer named Ray Russell. It was like a horror anthology like paperback that I had for like years and years and years, and A Measure of the Sin. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next, and A Measure of the Sin is like really heavy material. I wanted to do something like a little sillier in some respect, but I still wanted it to be horror. And I kept thinking of this story, and I knew Ray Russell had died like back in the late 90s, I think it was. And I was like, so how can this even be possible to get the rights to this story? And I couldn't find any information on him anywhere. And my wife, she enjoys like challenges like that. So she was digging around all over the internet, and she found it was this lawyer that represented writers' estates. And so she got in contact with him and basically told him married to what I wanted to do. And he ran it by Ray Russell's son and daughter, who hold the rights to all of his works. And I basically sent him a letter and told him who I was and the story, and that I didn't have any money really that I could like throw at him. And so they let me option the story for like almost nothing. And then I just gave them like a certain percentage if I could raise the money to make the movie, which again was very little. And they were super cool. So I adapted the story, and a lot of what's in there is in the story, I think she was only like 14 years old, which, I mean, I took a beating by.
I don't think it ever really revealed her age.
No, I mean,
it didn't. In my
the
mind, I was thinking like 16.
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, right. She's supposed to be in her 7th. I mean, we talk about her running away from the orphanage, and when I was writing the script, I was like, I know I'm not going to make her 14. Like, I don't want it to be a turnoff.
Right.
And then so in my mind, I was almost like, I knew it was going to be slapstick in a lot of parts, and I was like, you know, I'm going to have her say like I don't want to go back to an orphanage, and that should just be funny to the audience because she should look older than that. The audience should start to pick up that she's like full of shit anyway. Like everything she's doing is like a lie. So anyway, but yeah, it was, the script came, actually the strange thing about the script was I was like, man, I'm going to be able to write this really quickly because I want to stay pretty true to it. But I started running into like, and Chad probably remembers some because it was hard. It was harder than I expected because it was a short story. So there were things that I had to create a whole storyline of this brother that's after her and all that stuff was not in the story. But yeah, I mean, that's out and shot it in Viola, Tennessee.
Dude, it's amazing. It's so different. I specifically remember, Tennessee Horror. I remember them, you gave them a screening, you know, and he sent me a trailer for it, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta see this movie. So when I was doing stuff with Tennessee Horror, they sent me the screening of it. First damn thing, the damn logo comes up, Tennessee Gothic, and I was like, what the fuck? This is awesome already. Okay. But then I was watching, I was going, oh my God, is this like a softcore porn or a horror movie? What the fuck? I mean, it was so good. It was so different and cheesy. But I'm giving you kudos because it's so different from anything I've ever seen. And that's what stands out to me.
Right.
And
yeah.
And it's funny talking to Jackie because, you know, we had go back, listen to episode 26. Jackie, amazing. When I asked her, she said that was the hardest thing for her to do. She's like, they wanted me to be sexy. I'm not that. That's not me.
Right.
But because of her awkwardness, like she played it so perfectly, so perfect.
Right.
I mean, like you couldn't ask for a better cast. I mean, your cast was amazing.
Yeah, Jackie was, I mean, and if you hang out with her, like on a day-by-day basis, like you get what she's saying. She's not like a flirty, bat her eyelashes type of a person, like at all.
No, she's like one of the bros, right?
Yeah, like a huge horror fan. And she started acting by way of like writing a lot. She was a screenwriting major. And so I think, I mean, she's gotten comfortable in that role now, but I think when we did Tennessee Gothic, she had done some shorts and stuff, and her biggest thing she had done was Eric Stanzey's film in memory of, and that's actually where I met her. I was having a hard time casting that role because you can always find actresses that are willing to do nudity and sex and things like that, but they're not very good actors.
Right.
Or you'll find actors that, you know, are really good, but they don't do nudity. And we went to St. Louis for a few days to help Eric on his film, and I was just watching Jackie, and I knew I had read the script and I saw some of the stuff they were shooting, and I looked at Katie and I was like, dude, you know what I'm thinking? And she was like, yeah, I know exactly. And so Eric shot an audition, and it was crazy. I still have it somewhere, but he lit it, and it was like a production. Her audition was like a scene. It was crazy. Wow. And it was you know, she was in. But the wild thing is a lot of people I don't think really understand, even until I started sending cuts out. Like I don't think people realize how wanted it to be in areas. I don't know if it wasn't on the page or what, but I was like, no, this movie is going to be like a cross between like Dumb and Dumber, Risky Business, and a Guar song or something. and you know, Eric would be like, really? Because I read it as straight horror, and I was like, you know, and when I finally sent him the cut, he was like, I see I see what you're talking about, like with twangy guitar transitions, stuff like that. Just you know, why just wild kind of out there stuff. And we were getting a decent little amount of traction. I mean, it had done okay, and then we were pretty much wrapping it up before our festival run. And then I got a message from the Joe Bob Briggs camp about Mutant Fest. And I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to go because it's in Pennsylvania. And I think I was already going to be out of town. And then they sent a message and they were like, Joe Bob really wants you to be here. And then that's when I called Chad and I was like, I think we should go to this thing. And,
no, that's a huge compliment. That's a huge compliment. You should go to it. Did you go to it?
Yeah, we went. And then the movie ended up winning there. So it was awesome.
Very cool.
Oh my God, that is so freaking awesome. That is amazing.
But it really is like, I'm helping a young guy right now with his first film, and he's experienced, he was getting like tons of facts. He like submitted to the Joe Bob Briggs thing and it didn't get in. And I was like, look, you should have never sent your movie there in the first place, because your movie is that kind of movie. And the idea is to, like, Joe Bob Briggs is all about drive-in, sleazy kind of like how many breasts were shown, how many kills were there. So I knew that if I could get his attention, it would probably be something that, but we were getting rejected from a lot of other festivals. I mean, one of the writers at Rue Morgue, he called me a misogynist, and he said, you know, it takes a special kind of hate towards women to make a movie like this.
Really?
You know, all this stuff.
Oh my God, that is crazy. So me being a woman, but I love horror.
Right.
I didn't think anything sexist about it at all. I absolutely love the movie. Love it.
Jackie took like great offense to it because the entire time the entire story, she controls everything around her. It's not misogynist. I mean, I don't care. It was funny to me, but anyway, the point is, like, you just have to keep throwing. Where you wouldn't submit your science fiction novel to a romance agent. I mean, that's, you know, it's kind of, okay, here's what I've done. Who in the community should I try to get to see this? Because I think it's up their alley, and it's kind of that thing. It give you a leg up to, in finding the person that it connects with.
It's true. You have to know your market for sure.
Yeah, you do have to, like, you and Mike is very familiar. He's very familiar with it. I get it.
All right, guys, let's talk a little bit about cults. Let's talk about a movie you guys collaborated on, Dementer.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. How did that movie come about?
How did that come about? No. Let's see. I had moved to Los Angeles, and at some point I just thought, what would it be like if I could make a horror movie with my sister? And so my sister is 4 years older than me and has Down syndrome. And even in college, I thought, well, maybe I'll do like a documentary with her or something like that. But I never did, because I just didn't want to make something sappy or stupid. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to go there. There's no point in doing that. But I thought, somehow putting her in a horror movie, really, to me, had legs. And I was like, but anyway, I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. And so I moved to LA and ended up only being out there a year. And then when I moved back, I just realized I was like, I have to have another movie like right now. What is something, of my ideas that I can do myself? And I was like, damn, I was like, I could try to figure out how to make this movie with my sister and what that would even kind of look like.
Yeah.
And it was something I couldn't even really verbalize to people. I think I told Jeff about it, one of the first people then, and Lucky McKee. I told him about it. He's like, man, that sounds beautiful. You should do it. I was like, okay. and so then I was like, okay, well, what kind of like, storyline can I do? Because my sister is very low functioning. Like, they give them like kind of like grades as far as like how much attention or care they need. And she's like, they would say she has like the mind of a 4-year-old. Where you can't have someone like that be your lead character in a movie. Right. You're never going to like make this story happen. So my first idea was to like literally follow her around with a camera and audio and just shoot all of her normal activities and just start to see where I can cut in and start to shape a story. And then I was like, okay, that's going to be too hard because I need to pay the audio guy. It's just going to take too much time for me to be there, with her for a month.
Right.
Then I was kind of like, well, what about this kind of like a fake documentary about her and something weird going on? And then I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I like the idea of a documentary style. But then it kind of came down to, okay, I have X amount of money because I paid for it myself. And I have it, so we're only going to have a little bit of time. It's got to be a structured narrative. And I need someone else to be the main character. And I said, okay, so who's the closest person in my sister's life every day? And that's the aides that work with her at her where she lives and at the center that she goes to. And so I was like, okay, cool. It's going to be about this this person who's getting a job as a caretaker, an aide, and so then my sister will be the person she's taking care of. I was like, cool. And so then I just started, I kind of had the concept and I was like, okay, well, I need someone locally that I can trust. And the only name ever in my mind was just Katie. I was like, Katie can do this. Like, I trust her to be into this environment, with my sister and all these people I've known for my whole life. And I was like, okay. And that, of course, and then I told Jeff, I was like, dude, what would you think about, DPing this movie for me? Because we really hadn't worked together yet. We had just been reading each other's scripts and looking at each other's cuts or whatever, for years. And he said, yeah, he'll definitely do it. And so I was like, cool. Well, then we're going to do this. And this is like January, February, March. And I was like, okay, we're going to start shooting in a month and a half. And I told Katie the pitch. And in the end, she like saves my sister in the pitch. It was like an upending movie. And then I wrote it. I guess I wrote it in about a month, and I wrote it loosely, knowing that I know that, whatever I want to happen in these scenes, it's not going to happen exactly like it is on the page. And I would just have to shape every scene to have the story beats, but know that it's not going to be exact. And so, yeah, so I took a totally different approach too when we were shooting it too, where Jug Face was completely storyboarded. Even though I didn't necessarily use the storyboards, I definitely gave the crew before every day the shots that we were going to do for every scene, and they knew what we were going to be doing. So it was really planned out, where Dementer was the opposite. I was the cameraman. And so I would just say, I didn't even, the first day I tried to use shot list, and I was like, okay, forget it. I'm just going to have to like find this on my feet. And I would just say to Jeff, Jeff, what happens in the scene? And he would just like read me the script. I'm like, okay. And we would start, working it together and picking out how we're going to shoot it. And that's kind of how we did it.
It's amazing that there is so much work that goes on a movie set. So much damn work. Everything you're saying, I'm going, oh my God. Like, so I've done a little bit of acting, and God, like some of my favorite kill scenes, I'm like, we would be there for damn 8 hours. I do these shit like countless times, and you go and watch the movie, and it's like 2 seconds. I'm like, oh
Right.
shit, what the fuck?
Right.
Oh my God, like I was there like all damn night long. Like it was a big deal. It's crazy. People don't understand the work that goes into it. So
people that aren't directly involved, they always think it's like going to be the most exciting thing to be there, whatever, and they don't last long at all, because making
fuck no.
making a movie
Right.
it's fucking like, if you don't have something to do like on the set, it's the most boring place in the world to be, because the period of time the camera is actually very small compared to getting everything ready to turn the camera on.
Right. It's hurry up and wait, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Oh no, I get it. I remember so my first lead role was filmed not this past summer, the summer before that. Oh my God. We have full-time jobs, and I was sleeping like 2-3 hours a night. This is an example, okay? The police during my death scene, it was filmed in Harrisonville, Tennessee. The police was called because I got holstered from a damn tree, and someone called the police. They're like, "This white girl's like hung up from a tree." I was like, "Really?" The police showed up there, like, "What's going on out here?" I'm like, "We're filming a movie." I was like, "Oh my God, this is insane!" But the police stayed there through my entire death scene. That's all that ends. It should be coming out this year. So, but anyways, I know it's so crazy during filming. It's a lot of work, and Mike and I both recognize that Mike's a movie director. Mike, how many movies have you done? 17. And so I have 17 in my brain for some reason. That's not right, is it?
I'm not sure.
Hey, you
Around,
don't even know. Hey, you don't even know.
Where can we see these movies?
Yes, we want to talk about y'all's movies too. We want to know where we can see everything.
Well, Bridget's the first movie that Brigitte acted in. It's on Tubi, right? It's called Deadlines.
Deadlines. You can stream it on Tubi. Yep.
Most of my stuff is on Amazon Prime, but Tubi, I do have one called Cellar Secret.
It's my favorite, by the way. Cellar Secret is badass. I love it. It's really good.
Yeah.
So Tennessee Gothic and Jug Face, because we've been talking about these movies tonight. So where can we stream these at? Can we stream? Actually, where can we go buy them? You got TennesseeHorror.com, right?
You can rent it on Vimeo. And then our website, Gypsy Root Productions, /shop. You can buy like the Blu-ray and the DVD and all of that. You can still get Dementer from Arrow, right? And Jug Face.
Yeah. The Dementer disc is still available. It does have Jug Face on it as well.
Let's talk about that a little bit. How did Arrow get involved there, Chad?
Arrow, they started their streaming service, Arrow Player, and they had contacted me to do content for Jug Face, because that was one of the titles that they had licensed. And so I just did different pieces for them. And during that conversation, they just said, "Hey, what are you doing now?" And I was like, "Oh, I just had a small movie that I've done." And I think I just started going to festivals, and so press was coming out about it. And the poster I had made, they had seen it, I thought that was like really crazy. And I'm like, yeah. And then so they knew it. And I was like, yeah, well. And I guess at this time, I was in talks for like the U.S. distribution of it, and so anyway. Through a few months, they ended up making an offer, because they wanted it on their service or whatever. And so, and then, the whole package came with it, with the Blu-ray release. And then they told me right before it was going to be released, Dementer, that they were also going to license Jug Face for it, which is really cool. And so it was like a double feature disc, and yeah, it was amazing. Yeah.
Awesome.
And also, it should be mentioned that some of the short films Chad was talking made during his childhood with like the bad squibs and makeups and all that, some of those are on that release.
Yeah, I did like a 5-minute edit of all of them together.
Cool.
It just says, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is amazing. Actually, it's like you're the jack of all trades.
Well, let's go back to Dementer real quick. Jeff, what was your experience like working on that one?
It was one of the wildest movie making. It was just so different. Like Chad said, we knew from the beginning he was going to have to operate the camera just because it was his sister, and a lot of the people that were involved were people that he had been around for a lot of his life. It was a sensitive environment. So we would essentially a lot of it was available lighting. So it was a matter of like trying to figure out like what lights to kill, or like black wrap or flag, or it was more that kind of a job. And just staying out of the way of, I mean, a lot of the times Chad was like, okay, I want to start over here and then end over here. How do we make sure all this is illuminated and not be seen? Stuff like that. And I was also in addition to lighting and there was a roasted cat that I was in charge of.
What did you say? I'm sorry. Can you say that one more time? What did you say?
It was the roasted cat. You know, the roasted cat that Katie has. Chad had found this cat. You want to tell the story, Chad?
Yeah.
I roasted cat. Like what?
I was saying roasted, but I was trying not to laugh.
In the script, I was like, okay, I need to have a dead cat body, that's been barbecued or whatever. And I was thinking, I'm just going to have to get chicken bones and just, I don't know, wire it together, do something. And
from the movie. Yeah. Okay.
And so then I was standing in my family's business, which is like the first co-op in Fayetteville. And so it's a really over 100-year-old building. And there was the area where I was standing is like a new addition they built in the 90s. And anyway, all around there are like these feral cats and dogs, and it's just like kind of wild. But anyway, I was standing there saying, I need to go figure this out. And they're like, oh, you need a dead cat? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, there's one right underneath you. And I'm like, underneath me? And they're like, yeah, underneath the building. It's been there since like the 90s. And anytime anybody goes under there to like fix a pipe, they, will stumble across it and it'll freak them out. And so I went down there, and I found this perfect like cat skeleton that had, it was mummified basically. It had no hair, but it had like its skin. It was just like paper thin, and it was just completely flat. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I just stuck it in a trash bag and took it to set or whatever. Then we had to break it in half. That was the first thing, because the little Weber that I had bought for the scene was too small. And then all that was okay. And then when we burned it, though, it smelled. It was the worst smell. And I've smelled some really gross stuff in my life. It was the worst smell I've ever smelled. If you had something that was animal burning alive, it would have smelled better than this.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it sent a real primal signal to you that this was wrong. That you should like get away from this.
It was unlike, you couldn't identify the smell. It was unlike anything that your body is used to, like foul. It wasn't rot. It was just something so totally different that your body was like revolting against. but no one would get around it. So it was just
a dead person and dead animal smells one thing. So you're saying it's way different from that?
It was. It didn't even make any sense that it would have a smell,
Well,
but it was so wrong.
I mean, I don't even know what I was expecting. I think I was just expecting nothing because it was nothing. It was just part of the earth at that point. But it just this, like Chad said, the sound guy like stuff off and was like, "I'm not on this," and it was just us.
Wow.
It's the craziest things that what we do for movies, right? It's the last time I saw you guys, we were at Full Moon Festival. You come up to our booth and Jeff, you were like, I listen to your podcast and you'll talk about movie quotes. And you're like, holy shit, they're hard.
Yeah, they're hard.
Freaking hard. No, I'm a movie quote person, but I think about it, I'm like, holy shit. You know how many damn horror movies I watched? Like, this was a whole conversation today with my parents. They're like, how many horror movies do you watch? I'm like, how many regular movies do you watch? I was like, I probably watched like 1 out of 10. Like a comedy or a romantic movie, 1 out of 10 probably. It's mostly horror. That's my thing. And I'm laughing but movie quotes are still hard. They're really hard. Jeff, you pointed this out to me. So, y'all want to play a game with me tonight?
I'll try.
Shit! I'm like, here it comes. Y'all want to play a game? Who wants to do movie quotes? Y'all
sure.
will probably y'all look, movie directors, like I have Horror Trivial Pursuit. Have y'all ever played that shit?
No.
It is hard as fuck. It is so hard. And it's always talking about movie directors, and I'm really hard at movie directors. So I'm talking to 3 movie directors right now. Y'all gonna kick my ass probably. I don't know. I'm gonna have to step my game up and let's see if I can show you up, but I don't know. We'll try.
Y'all probably picked out a bunch of hard, like really hard stuff to make us look like you don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Well, Mike is hardcore. Okay, it is hardcore with Mike and Brigitte, but Mike is serious. I'm like, damn, Mike, you be picking out some shit that's fucking hard. So, but dude, let's do this. Let's do this, Mike. You have quotes for us tonight?
I do have quotes, and don't worry, we'll give you clues if you get stuck.
Yeah, because sometimes I'm like, can you like throw me out like a year or a decade or? Okay, so let's do this though. Let's do this. Let me see what these guys got on. Let's check out their hard trivia quotes.
All right, guys.
How do we play? How do we play? Do we just jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
Oh my God. So
if you have an answer, just throw it out there.
Throw it out there. Mike's gonna read it off. He's gonna just read off a movie quote, and we're just gonna try to guess what movie it's from.
All right.
Okay. Are we ready?
5 of these.
We got 5.
Here comes number 1. Okay.
No Googling or DuckDuckGo. Don't. Right. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Here we go. Susie, Sarah, I once read that names which begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
Oh, God.
It sounds like Snakes on a Plane. That's not right, is it? I've never even seen that movie. I've never seen that movie. That was my first go-to.
It's not that movie.
Okay, fine. Fuck it. I haven't seen it, but
I think I've seen this.
Yeah, I feel like I have. Is it? Sure. Can we ask? Is it?
Oh,
in the 80s?
Asking for hints. Yeah,
it's from the 70s.
Okay.
Can you read it again?
Is it American or is it Italian?
Oh yeah. Read it again.
It is Italian. Here we go.
I knew it.
Oh.
Susie, Sarah, I once read that the names that begin with the letter S are the names of snakes.
Oh, I know what it is.
Suspiria?
Yeah.
Suspiria.
Yeah.
Yes.
I fucking love that movie.
Yep.
I didn't recognize that quote. Oh my God, good for you.
I remember now. Yep.
I'm like, yeah, I'm up against some movie directors. Damn it. Yeah, it's gonna be hard.
right.
It's gonna be hard.
This
All right,
one-
what you got?
This one's probably a little bit harder.
Oh shit! Great, awesome.
You ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
They swim. The mark of Satan is upon them.
They swim. The mark of Satan is upon them.
Mm-hmm.
Piranha 2: The Spawning.
James Cameron's finest. No, not that one. So they swim. The mark of Satan is upon them. They must hang.
Claw of Satan.
No, but I feel like you're getting a little warm.
Witchfinder's Daughter.
There you go.
Damn.
What was it? What was it?
No, I'm sorry. You're wrong.
Witchfinder General, I mean.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
sorry.
going to say Witchfinder's General.
Yes. Okay, so that wasn't high.
Holy shit! That was amazing. I haven't seen that one, so I didn't know that one.
That's old school. That's real old school.
Damn, good for you.
Yeah.
Look, we got 2 movie directors on here. Mike is like going straight for the jugular. He's gonna like pick some hard shit. I know him so much.
Okay, I think this one's easy. You're gonna get this one right away, I think. Here we go. You ready?
Ready?
Number 3. Well, I'm confident your suspicions are wrong. We don't commit murder here. We're a deeply religious people. Religious?
God.
With ruined churches, no ministers, no priests, and children dancing naked?
You said this is easy?
Easy. I think.
Ready one more time, Mike. Please.
Okay. Sure.
Please.
Well, I'm confident your suspicions are wrong. We do not commit murder here. We're a deeply religious people. Religious, with ruined churches, and no ministers, no priests, and children dancing naked.
So it's like a cult movie.
Sort of. That's kind of the theme.
He picked cult movies because he thought we would know them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
I know. Look, y'all are putting a little box over there. No, I'm just kidding.
This is like early 70s.
Oh, okay, that's good. I need a decade. Ooh, 70s.
Probably one of my favorite folk horror movies.
Oh, God. Now we're...
Oh, the Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man.
Oh, shit. That
There you
was
go.
so good.
It made sense then.
It did make sense.
You gave me the time period.
Yes. All right, here we go. Number 4. This one may be a little bit harder, depending on how far up on horror you are. Number 4. Are you suggesting we are devil worshippers? Devil's just another bitch of the Lord. Rebel angel that was cast out? I'm not ashamed. But he is downstairs daily doing the Lord's work, just like the rest of them.
This is another 70s?
Nope.
No,
It's
this
come out
is
in 2014.
Oh, shit.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
Nope.
Oh, shit. Okay, fine.
It's not, I'm here to do the devil's work.
I know it sounded like a Dr. Satan like thing, but okay. Oh my God, I've seen this. I know this damn quote. I know this quote. Okay, fine. Mike, I need another hint. Come on, let's give another hint. Okay.
Okay.
2014, you said?
2014. It is about a cult. To a degree.
I'm here to do the devil's work.
Are you
my
suggesting we are devil worshippers? Devil is just another bitch of the Lord. Rebel angel that was cast out. I'm not ashamed, but he is downstairs daily doing the Lord's work, just like the rest of them.
I'm trying to think of just any folk horror movies that have come out.
I wouldn't say this is folk, but it's
It's not?
a cult. No, but it's about a cult though.
Okay.
I know it's hard in it. Yeah.
The lead antagonist, their last name was Payman.
Payman.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen it or not, but anyway, they just released a remake of the movie that just came out.
It was made. It was made in 2014, and they just remade it. I mean, that's not surprising.
Well, the same director remade it. Yeah, it just came out.
The same director remade it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Is it the...
Golly.
I'm trying to think of something that was remade again.
I know,
Like
because
Wrong Turn, something. I don't know.
My brain keeps going back to Otis Driftwood. That's where I keep going back to.
This one literally.
But that's not it.
The remake just dropped like recently, very recently.
Oh, so it's an Evil Dead.
No.
Oh, well, you said the remake just dropped. Fuck.
I just talked to Brigitte about this.
Last Shift.
Yes, last shift.
Oh,
Has anybody seen this?
He's like,
that's Anthony DeBlasi, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I did not see that.
Yeah, me either.
But
you guys should check it out.
like, I liked his Dread a lot. The Clyde Barker one he did.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's just one of those movies that, for whatever reason, I never saw.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because he literally just remade it in a movie called Malum, but I really like Last Shift. You should check it out.
Okay.
that's the thing. That's the thing is that I always love movie quotes, but oh my god, like, do you know how, when you're sitting here talking about horror movies, and I watch horror movies damn practically every day. It's like my thing, and oh my god, the quotes are fucking hard. I mean, you're going. But everything that you're saying, I'm pretty sure, like y'all could both tell me I'm wrong, but I love Rob Zombie films, and Otis Driftwood, that was one of his quotes was, "I am the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work." Am I right? I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that one. But I was all over that shit.
You are correct.
Bill Moseley's like, I love him. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All
Okay.
Right. Last one, guys. Number 5. Here we go. Let's go back. Let's do some more cults. Here we go. People just do the strangest things when they believe they're entitled, but they do even stranger things when they just plain believe.
The Believers.
Yeah, so
Oh, did you get it? Was that right?
No, it's not right.
Oh, I was like, is that a movie? Because that's
The Believers is an underrated cult movie.
Yeah.
Well, so we need to put that on our list, Mike.
Yeah.
It's voodoo.
Oh,
Right.
It sounds like a good one. Oh, cool. I love it that you're going with the cult.
hey,
I love that you're going with the cult thing.
say it again.
People do
the strangest things when they believe they're entitled, but they do even stranger things when they just plain believe. I'm
gonna guess. I'm just throwing this shit out there.
Throw
okay. It was Kate Hudson, the Skeleton Key.
Ooh, I like that movie, but no, that's not it.
Oh shit. Okay. That was a good guess though, right? What did you guess?
Yes. This one came out in 2011. This director.
This was 2011. Okay, good.
This was the director's first foray into horror. He'd been making comedies before that. Primarily just a comedian, filmmaker before this movie.
Red State.
Red State. There
Nice.
Holy shit, that was good.
Red State.
All right. Well, we got 4 out of 5. That's
There you
pretty
go.
good.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
I told you. Look, this is the first podcast that I've never got one. Y'all kicked my
Bridget,
ass
for
on that
5.
one.
Yeah.
Damn, y'all kicked my ass on that one. I knew it.
I was like excited if you were gonna do. I mean, because I listened to the podcast I was like, oh, I know this is an American Werewolf in London, and I can't remember what some of the other ones were, but I was like, man, okay, I think I could probably do all right at this. And now the listeners are like, these motherfuckers don't know anything.
I know it. I didn't even pick up on that until he told me who did the special effects. That's the only reason I got that one. Oh my God. I remember talking to you, and Jeff, you were like, holy shit, listen to your quotes, and it's just hard. I'm like, no shit, it is hard. It is.
They were hard.
It's totally hard.
We kind of ran through the easy ones like the first few weeks, so it just keeps getting harder.
Dude, but quotes, that's the thing, is that horror movies just, we could go on and on and on. So I have a question. So we're gonna wrap it up. So I want to know from you guys. Tell our listeners where how do you find you guys on social media? How do you find your movies? Can you tell us that?
Go ahead, Chad.
Okay, Chad, you're up.
Yeah, Jug Face is on iTunes, Amazon, and probably a bunch of other places, but I know it's also on Shudder right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dementer, Aeroplayer, you can get the UK Blu-ray. It's also on Amazon, iTunes, and probably a bunch of other places streaming as well. And then you can find me at Chad Crawford Kinkle on pretty much everything: Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
Very cool, Jeff.
Awesome, Jeff.
My pretty much everything I've done is on our website, gypsyrootproductions.com. And we have in Tennessee Gothic, and I think A Measure of the Sin, maybe you can rent on Vimeo. And I'm primarily active on Facebook. However, my Facebook account has been disabled, and I don't have any idea.
Are you in Facebook jail?
I don't look, I hardly ever even post anything. I got this message saying it didn't even say Facebook. I guess Instagram and Facebook are together now. See, I don't know these things, but it was like your Instagram account, and then it has some long ass account name that's not even mine, has been like restricted or something. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I've been hacked or what, but I can get on Instagram, no problem. And my Instagram handle is Maverick Moonminer, and my Twitter is I think it's just at Jeff Wedding. Maybe Jeff Wedding 1. But anyway, that's
Maverick Moonminer.
That's me.
You're totally Googleable. So, or you could just say Jeff Wedding out of Nashville, Tennessee.
All right.
I should have asked this question to you guys earlier, and I apologize that I didn't ask this, but so our podcast is Hardcore Horror because Mike and I love extreme horror movies. So a question that we ask everyone, or I ask everyone, and we talked about this already, but I want to talk about it on the podcast. We talked about when I saw you in person at the Full Moon Festival, but what is your favorite horror movie? Is there any horror movies that scare the shit out of you? What's your favorite extreme horror movie? Do you love extreme horror movies? Like, what's your favorite horror movie?
Man.
Who's going first? I'm sorry, I should have asked. Okay, Jeff, I'm going to ask you first. How about that?
My favorite movie, like the best movie I think is The Silence of the Lambs. And I think that movie sort of masqueraded as a thriller when it but it's, I think that was more so it could get prestigious recognition. But that, I think, to me, it's the best horror movie, or my favorite at least. As far as extreme horror, you're talking about like subversive, like underground.
I guess everyone's version of extreme is different. It just depends on what pushes your limits. Do you have anything that push your limits where you're like, oh my God, oh my God?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. This answer now because I've become friends with Eric Stanzi. But back in the, I guess it was the early 2000s, I discovered Eric's work, and I saw Scrapbook. I don't know if you've ever seen Eric's movie Scrapbook. But it is it's for real, hard to watch. Oh. And I'm a huge fan of Scrapbook, and he made another film called Ice from the Sun, which was shot on Super 8. It's an entire feature shot on Super 8, which is an impressive feat. In that time period, there wasn't like non-linear editing systems like we have now. Eric like shot this thing on Super 8 and then cut it on tape. And it's impressive, and it's just really messed up. So though Eric's like underground extreme horror, I think, if you read books about sort of extreme horror, I mean, he's done all of those things for a reason. For me, is still The Exorcist.
Oh yeah, gosh,
Cool.
it's good. And Eric Stans, oh my gosh, really quick, Eric Stans and Jackie Kelly just got married.
They did.
God, let's just give them big congratulations. I was like, oh my God, they're the cutest couple. Like, not cutest, they're the most hardcore couple ever. Oh my God, what a best couple ever. That I was so excited. She's like, I married like my life partner, my best friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is the best thing ever. God, I love that shit.
And the funny thing about, I mean, awesome thing, they belong together. But the funny thing about Eric is like when you see like some of his earlier stuff, you're like, this motherfucker, man, he's got to be like, you don't know what to expect when you meet him, but he's like the kindest, like most soft-spoken, like, just worked with him on a film together. And it's wild that he makes the kind of stuff he does. He's not at all what you would expect.
I think I get that from every movie director I've ever met in person that does extreme. Mike's a perfect example. So you guys are going to go and watch Siller's Secret. You were like, oh my God, like this guy like made this, like you thought of that.
I'm excited.
No, he has another one. He has another one called Candy's Harem. And when we first started talking about doing a podcast, he goes, "You watched that movie?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "And you want to do a podcast with me?" I was like, "Yes, yes," because that shit is crazy. No, a chick kills men with her sex toys. Is the best fucking thing ever. All right, that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to say anymore. But anyways, all right.
Yeah, these movies are super micro budget, guys. So just
I'm gonna seriously. I'm not kidding. Like I will watch all of them. I watch everything from like $50 movies to like $50 million movies. I love all. I watch more probably micro than anything else.
Oh, very cool.
I probably do too. That's what I appreciate it. I appreciate the art behind it and the effort behind it, and I love it. So okay. Chad.
Yes.
What is your favorite horror movie? Do you love any extreme horror movies? So tell us about that.
Yeah, I guess my favorite would be a kind of a tie between the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Rosemary's Baby.
Oh yeah,
they're kind of like my two, but I like so much more, almost as much as that. Like even things that like Full Moon has done. Like Jeff knows I love the subspecies series. I just love the vampires or whatever. But let's see, as far as like extreme, probably Martyrs, the French.
That's my all-time favorite movie.
Hell yeah.
It's great.
That's my all-time favorite horror movie. I love it. I've seen it like 100 times. I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How old were you when you saw it for the first time?
Probably the 80s. I was probably, I don't know, like 10, around that age. There was a show called Commander USA, Groovy Movies on USA Network, and he was like this horror host, and I would watch all kinds of horror movies like Hammer and American stuff, and then he would also play kung fu movies. So I saw a ton.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. So on Saturdays, I was just in front of the TV watching that, and then of course this is during the time of like renting movies, and so my mom would rent whatever, and then I had a babysitter that would just bring me any movie. Like I watched with my high school babysitter, I Spit on Your Grave.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
Yes.
Like the original.
Talk about the original.
The
Yes.
original.
Oh yeah.
Original.
Was she a hot babysitter?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
you had like
Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck? You had like the hot babysitter that
Yeah,
brought
who
you
brought
the
me?
extreme horror movies.
Yes.
I'm like, did
It was awesome.
That
The
is
best.
so badass.
That's the best babysitter.
Right.
I have a quick piece of trivia about
Okay.
I Spit on Your Grave really quickly. Everyone
Okay.
knows like that iconic poster,
Mhm.
the girl like from behind with. Do you know?
Yeah.
Do any of you guys know who that is? That the model for that poster?
I can't remember, but I know it's not. I know it's not the actress. Who is it?
Demi Moore.
What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh.
Demi Moore.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
But why wouldn't it be, dude? Her body is banging.
Yeah.
Her body was, I don't know what she looked like today, but her body was banging back then. Oof.
Yeah.
I would have thought her out of all people, though. I never would have thought that. So,
Yeah. At the time, I
shit.
think she was just modeling.
That's our
Yeah.
fun fact for the night. Damn.
There you go.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. Love that. So, damn, God,
All
you
right.
guys have been so great to talk to. We really appreciate you guys coming on and
Thanks for having us.
God, go
Yeah,
and check
for sure.
these
Thank
guys
you.
out. They are badass. Their movies are badass. They push the limits that we
Yeah.
love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you get offended, then first of all, you probably wouldn't be listening to the podcast. But if you get offended, don't go and watch their shit. No, these guys are amazing. We love your work. We love everything that you do, and just go out and check them out. Oh, and Jeff, oh my God, one last thing. Holy shit, your t-shirts. I gotta buy another one. Your t-shirts are the fucking best. The Tennessee Gothic t-shirts. It don't matter what size I am for that shit. That motherfucker fits me. It's my favorite damn t-shirt. So I rocked it today. So I'm on vacation right now. I'm on vacation, and I was running around Panama City earlier, and I was wearing the Tennessee Gothic, and people are like, "Well, that's Tennessee Gothic." I'm like, "Oh, well, let me educate you. Let me
Hell
tell
yeah.
you about it." So I love it.
Thank you.
Can you still get those t-shirts on your website, TennesseeGothic.com?
Yeah. You can.
Dude, amazing. Your logo is probably one of my favorites.
Thanks.
Amazing. I love it. T-shirt. I even asked Katie, I was like, who picked out some damn t-shirts? Because they're amazing. But anyways.
The guy, I'll say this quickly just because you brought that up. When he actually did our poster, his name's Tom Neely. And I discovered another extreme horror movie that I really like. And it's how I found out about him. But the Bunny Game. I don't know if you guys have seen the Bunny Game.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
So Adam Remeyer's movie. But anyway, yeah, he's the one who did the logo.
He created the logo. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Probably my favorite logo out of anything. I remember your movie, Tennessee Gothic. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. The damn logo comes up, it's Tennessee Gothic. I'm like, oh my God, this is badass. I'll be rocking that shirt, and people are like, what the hell is Tennessee Gothic? Like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, well, let me tell you. I love it. It's so good. So good. Okay. But yeah, no, we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for everything you do. And thank you for being in the horror community and coming on our podcast. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We look forward to all the things you're going to be doing in the future, guys.
Likewise, I'm gonna look your stuff up, Mike.
All right, man.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Chad and Jeff. Wow. Very cool guys, huh?
Holy smokes, dude. Amazing. Very creative.
Yeah.
Very creative, hardworking Tennessee guys. Love them. Love them both. Love everything they do.
Down to earth. Yeah. Very informative.
God, awesome.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything?
I don't have anything else for you.
All right. Well, that's been another episode in the books.
Another episode. So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Are you gonna keep it hardcore?
I try to keep it hard in the mornings. Hardcore.
That's funny. Okay. Okay.
You keep it
Keep it-
hardcore.
Keep it hardcore.
Until next time.
Till next time.
All right.
All right.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. That's hardcore.
Nothing harder.
Hardcore horror with Mike and Brigitte is a part of the Tennessee Horror Podcast Network.